Hey all, Matt here with Bobcat Bonsai, and today I'm here with this nice little pot here, pretty big pot, and one of my little cascade junipers. Well, I decided that I'm going to hand this tree off to Andy and let him design it for me, so let's pass it off to Andy and see what he has to say.
Hi Matt. Hi everyone from Matt's channel. I'm Andy from Bonsai Crazy, and Matt and I have decided to do a collaboration together, an overseas collaboration, which will be quite fun and a little bit unique for you all. He's got a tree for me to design, and likewise I've got one for him, and we're gonna really try and create a tree or create a bonsai from the other side of the world, which would be fantastic. Now, I've done a drawing of Matt's tree. He sent me a couple of pictures, and I'll get Matt to show you, or I'll show you on my video what the tree is. Now, it is a cascade tree, and there are a few problems on the tree. If it's going to be a cascade tree, then we're going to have to chop it quite high up because there's no taper in the trunk. Now, I don't like to chop a tree that has been growing for a long time. I like to look at a tree and go, what can I keep, and what can we play about with to keep the growth that's already there on the tree. And I've come up with a design, and I really hope that you like it, Matt. I think that the design will work out really nicely. It's kind of a landscape one as well, at the same time as it being a raft style tree. So I'm going to show you this drawing. It's not a very good drawing, but I'm going to show you this drawing now to give you an idea or an inkling of what I think that tree could be. So I'll show you that now.
Andy, you got to stop holding out on me, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing this drawing, so I know what I'm going to get into here, so come on, dude, you let me see it.
Right, so here's the drawing. Like I say, it's not very good, but the idea is we've got the pot there, okay, and here is the root system of the tree. Now that is a rock sort of tapering down and going smaller into the distance over here. It doesn't have to necessarily be like that, but a rock. We've got a rock and it's coming round, and maybe we've got two rocks, and then we've got the land coming down with moss on it into the pot, right? So then we've got the tree, and it's coming up, and it's got that bend, as you can see in any other photo. It's got that really cool bend going round. So we're gonna continue with that bend and leave that bend as it is. Also, you've got another strong branch coming off of here, and that's going to make our first tree. And we're going to carry the bend round onto the soil, and that's where we're going to try and get our first roots coming out. Then we've got a few of the branches that are going to make trees going up the trunk. Then it comes round, and it spins round back on itself. So I reckon this point here will come up again and make another little loop and come back down into the soil just behind what you'd see the root as here. And the last tree will be at the back, but be visible through the loop of the main trunk. And that will be the smallest tree at the back. So the tree's sort of coming up in size along the trunk line, like so. And that's called a raft style tree. And I really think that the tree that you've got could do really well in this composition. I really like the idea of this one. Now we could go another way with the tree, and you could sort of chop it there and then wait for it to grow again and then carry on with the cascade as you've got. But I think this is another cool little design that could be possible. So I really hope it can be possible. So over to you, Matt, to let me know whether you think that's possible with this tree, mate.
All right, Andy, so I've got my pot, I've got my tree, I've got my rock that I think I'm going to use. I absolutely love your drawing. I tried to simulate it right here. If you thought yours was bad, look at mine. Yeah. That way I have something to glance at here as I'm working. I actually grabbed up some rooting powder as well, because for the raft, it's kind of cheating probably, but when I twist it and I get it anchored down to the ground, I am going to be brushing on a little bit of rooting powder, because why not give it the best chance it has. We've got some scissors, and we have lots of different wire that we're going to need for this. All right, so I guess part one is more or less, we got to get everything based off and into here. And I believe my initial spot for this rock is going to actually be, let me zoom out more. There we go. Sorry, it's a little bit messy over here. I was trying to avoid that. But we got to take what we can get in order to get the best possible shot. So I'm adjusting you around again some more. There we go. I think this is it right here. Oh no, the little leg slipped. Okay. So I think that's the best spot for the rock. In my personal thoughts here. There we go. Bring you down to the level with it. So you're just barely going to see the edge of that sticking out from level with the pot. But from the top you'll be able to see it pretty good. So that is where we are going to get the tree attached and into. Then we need to get some soil down. I'm not worried about wiring this rock in place because this thing is heavy. I knocked it down a little bit on the backside because it had this weird bulge that would have kicked it back like this, and I didn't like it. So I took that back edge off. So I'm planning on making the soil at least even in that spot right there. So for now, I'm going to get our little juniper here and begin to get the soil spread out across on the inside of here, because that's going to be the key to, I think, growing it, is keeping it in somewhat of the same soil. So let me grab some screen and put that inside over those holes so I don't lose all this material, and then I will speed you through the cleanup process. All right, I'll be right back with you. All right, so that took a bit longer than expected. So my goal for today, with the losing of light here, because I don't want to miss any of this, I'm going to get this whole thing broken apart, placed over top of the rock, and get the roots moving in the right direction. Then I'll pack it all down with soil on the inside here. Then we'll come back and begin working on angles and all that, either tomorrow or sometime later on. But for the time being, let me get you sped up through this. Alright, so the hard part is done. We have found a flat spot in the roots. So now we just need to take full advantage of that flat spot and figure out how we want to go about attaching that down. But give me 1 minute because I want to dunk these roots in some water. Okay. I always feel a little bit better when the roots are nice and wet, because at least I know they have some good moisture rolling through there. Okay, so with the way this is really set up here, I think the key is going to be really just trying to tackle this the best way we can. But that's where we're at so far. I can't believe it's actually flat underneath and I didn't have to cut anything. That is amazing and makes me super happy. I thought I had a nice long piece of this nice bright green wire, but I don't, so that's unfortunate. But I'm sure I have another long piece of scrap laying around somewhere in here. This one's not as bright, but we'll go with it. So what I really want to do here is try and get this to begin to form a nice radial pattern around this rock. So hopefully I am hitting what Andy was talking about here with the rock. Talk about a challenge here from a buddy over there. A root over rock, and we're just gonna keep working with this root over rock and turn it into a man, my brain's not working today, guys. We're gonna take the root over rock and run it down into a raft. Andy, you're insane, and I love it. Now I understand why your name's Bonsai Crazy. It's all making sense now, my friend, because you are crazy. In a good way. Either way, I still appreciate you, whether you're crazy in a good way or a bad way, because you're the man. Alright, looks like we got a little root caught on the wrong side of that wire there, so we may end up losing some of these as we try to get that back over here. It's going to be tough to get this perfect and everything exactly how we want it, but we'll try our best. So I think the next big goal here is looking at this massive roots that we have, right? So I'm going to take this pot that it was in, flip it over, and let's just look at the roots. Like, let's not even look at the tree right now, let's just look at the roots. I guess we're looking at the tree and the roots. It's all just way too long, and I have to get rid of some of it. So this one's got some nice babies up towards the top, so we're going to actually just drop it back to right in here, and we're just going to continue around and basically bring everything so that it comes up almost back even with this pot, so that I can easily, not easily, that's still going to be hard to fit all that into the new pot, but we'll make it work. We will make it work. So if you look, that soil actually really filled this thing up a lot, so we may even have to get rid of some of this soil just back into here, and then we'll figure it out as we're going. So we've got that packed down nicely, then I really want these little guys to just kind of like blend in here as much as possible. All right. So we're gonna take some of them and push them up the outside on the other side as well, and then some of these in the back. Then we're gonna come in and just put a little bit more soil on top here. I'm just gonna keep feeding this soil in. And trust me, it's gonna take a lot of soil to get this all done, and it's gonna take a lot of work just to accomplish this. So for right now, we've almost got it all. And I ran the soil up really high on the back of this too, just to try my best to cover up on the back side. I thought I had a tub of sphagnum moss, but I guess I don't. Oh, never mind. It's right here. Gotta love a tub of sphagnum moss, my friends. So this stuff's not super wet, it's just a little bit damp. Like if I squeeze it, water will come out, but it's mostly just damp through here. So our overall goal with that is we're going to really just pack it around the top of this rock. And that's just so that the roots that are all around the top of the rock and everything do not get dried out. We definitely don't want that, because we'll lose this entire tree. And this is too cool of a project to lose a tree over. So we got to make sure we do our job and keep it nice. So I'm going to take some more here. And we are going to come in this backside over here. And this is going to be a continual thing where I'm going to have to come back and redo this a few times because of it being a cascade tree, and now we're changing it up. I'm going to be fighting this, and it's going to keep pulling itself and trying to change its angles and all that. So that's something else to keep in mind as we're working on this. It's not going to be a simple task here. This is going to be a continual effort to keep getting this going just right. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit more here, and basically it's going to look like a mound of grass running around the entire back half of this thing by the time I'm done. Alright, so I'm feeling pretty good about the roots around the rock right now, and I feel like they're all put in there very well. The light is really fading bad, so I really want to keep pushing forward with this, but there's no point because you're not going to be able to see it. So all I'm going to do now is just load up bonsai soil in the front half of this, and that's going to have to be it for the day. So I've got a big old tub of bonsai soil, and I got a little scoop, and I'm going to take my little scoop, and I'm just going to begin to feed it around the top of this. Daylight savings time is really messed with my mojo here for how much time I have in the afternoons. I'll feel like I have a lot, but I don't. And then what I'm gonna end up doing when I come back and work on this again is I'll probably end up scraping this bonsai soil and then just go from there and just keep working it. So that's good and packed. Roots are good and packed. Everything's looking pretty happy here. I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to do all those bends as I look at this. The whip is not nearly as long as what I thought it was, so we will pull it as far as we can. And then we may just have to let the whip continue to grow to catch this back little part. There we go. Oh man, it's getting so dark we can't even see my drilling. We might have to just let it grow to catch this last little part right here. So we might not have this last little tree here for a while. Alright, so end of day one. This is what we've got going on with it. Don't worry, I'll make sure to water this all in because that's all dry soil that I just put on top. So that's what we've got going for now. Can't wait to get on to the raft portion.